morning. I want to thank the residents of St. Louis County for heeding the warnings of our emergency services and the National Weather Service. Last night, St. Louis County faced a severe weather event. We haven't seen anything like this since 2011 Good Friday tornadoes. First, yesterday afternoon, dangerous high winds came into the St. Louis region and in St. Louis County down several utility lines, damaged transformers, sparked brush fires and house fires throughout the county, kept our fire service very busy, and we're going to hear about that in a little bit. The powerful winds were followed by a tornado-producing storm like we have not seen in over a decade, damaging buildings, residential and commercial, and stranding some residents. Our police agencies and police officers were mobilized. Everyone was out last night checking on folks and viewing the impacted regions. I traveled through North County and Bridgeton and Florissant and Blackjack last night, talking to the mayors there, emergency personnel, and surveying the damage. But really the best and the most sophisticated damage assessment will be today. That's a usual response, and everybody's going to be out doing that. It's important if you see down power lines, stay away from them. Call Ameren, report them. You really don't want to be around any down power lines. I did speak to Governor Kehoe last night, and I want to thank the governor for his quick action yesterday afternoon, and then making resources available through the Missouri Highway Patrol and MoDOT. They were working very closely with our emergency personnel last night. And next I want to hear from Michelle Ryan, and she'll give you a little bit more detailed report about what happened and what's going to happen today. Michelle.
Good morning. Forgive me if I stumble a little bit. We're a little short on sleep here. The EOC, St. Louis County EOC, activated yesterday at 6 p.m. This allows us, when we bring in staff and outside partners, to track the storms in real time, and then we can coordinate our response with area first responders. First responders, including law enforcement, fire, utility crews, they worked literally through the night. They were still working when I got here at 7 o'clock this morning to clear debris and ensure public safety. Our current priorities as we move from response to recovery are utility restoration. Ameren crews have been working like crazy to restore power and get active power lines off of the roadways. Residents, as Dr. Page said, are urged to stay clear of any power lines, report them immediately to Ameren. Debris removal and roadway access. We know there are closed roads, primarily because of debris in the roadway. County Public Works, Transportation, and our municipal street departments are working very hard to reopen those roadways as quickly as possible. Home and property damage assessments. The sun is up. We can now see far better than we could, overnight last night. We have some idea where the majority of the damage is, but we need to know if folks have damage. We have requested damage assessment teams from the state of Missouri. I believe we will be getting them early in the week, but I need to know where to send them. So as you get up, as you walk outside, as you start looking at your home, if you find damage, shingles, from minor to major, call 211, report that damage. They send me reports. Those are the reports that I give to the damage assessment teams. In addition to that, United Way can help with other resources. Recovery takes time. We're committed to seeing that through and being with our residents and our businesses as they rebuild. We appreciate the patience and resilience of our residents. And just remember, if you have damage, call 211. If you see unsafe conditions, please call your local police department.
Bill, can you give us a report from fire service?
Sure. Yesterday afternoon, when the winds came in, calls for service started coming out. Reported wires down, wires turned into grass fires turned into larger grass fires. Some of those large grass fires got into structure fires and so on and so forth, cascaded to the events where local fire resources were overwhelmed. We deployed incident support teams to those throughout the county to give them backfill, to monitor and manage resources, calling outside resources to come in and backfill what was needed. At the height of it, I was up north as the ops section chief, and my job was to find out how much resources were up there, what was depleted, what was needed. We were able to bring the fires under control enough and enough time to get them back in quarters right before the storms hit, and give the guys enough rest and some food and water to get them when the storms passed through. Then we deployed them out for the damage assessment, reports of building collapses, some roof damages, things like that, assessing what was really going on out there. I left about 1 o'clock last night when everything was kind of winding down and things were just getting under control a little bit. And we knew that this morning was going to be more of an impact for us, is going out and helping our citizens get back, kind of restore their daily lives. That's it.
Thank you, Chief. We definitely want to recognize the work of fire service. So last night had very dangerous conditions with low humidity and high winds and multiple fires. And some local resources were overwhelmed, and neighboring communities and fire service agencies provided mutual aid to work very seamlessly together. They have a very tight-knit response, and it was good to see that yesterday. Last night, our county transportation and public works crews were out clearing debris from roadways and to help make room for emergency vehicles and work through the night. In addition to public works departments from our municipalities who were impacted last night, we had our county public works crews dispatched, and MoDOT was working on their own jurisdictions, but also made some of their resources available. We're grateful for that. I want to ask Matt to come up here and give us a summary of what the County Transportation and Public Works has done and what we can expect moving forward. Matt?
Yes, as previously indicated, the sun's coming up and we're going to learn a lot more about what happened as the day goes on here. Last night we had crews deployed immediately following the storms to deal with downed trees, setting temporary signs for dark signals and things like that. As Dr. Page indicated, we were providing assistance also to municipalities that were hit hard, Metro West Fire District and others as well. As the day goes on today, we'll know more about what additional impacts we have. We know we have some road closed still, as well as dark signals. We believe those are all or largely related to Ameren outages and things like that, so our crews will be following up with the cleanup as Ameren makes things safe in those areas. We also have teams of code enforcement inspectors to start assessing property damage and things like that as the day goes on, and we know more about the extent. And the last reminder I have is, if anybody drives up on dark signals, please treat them as a four-way stop sign.
Thank you, Matt. We're going to be busy today. Last night was about emergency response, protecting life and health, getting people safe, and getting the roads open so emergency vehicles can move through. We're going to spend the rest of the day and tomorrow with damage assessments. We need people to report to your local municipalities and through emergency services where the damage is. We'll have our own people out, the National Local Service will be bringing in their teams. County code enforcement folks will be out in teams of 2, evaluating damage, and then we'll be in touch with the state and federal agencies to coordinate emergency relief and recovery. And that'll take weeks and months to get people back to their normal lives. But I do want to recognize that the past 2 days, everyone in St. Louis County did a great job of communicating. We knew we were going to get a bad storm like we hadn't seen in a long time. We didn't know how bad, but we were ready. People listened to the emergency warnings. They took shelter, and we have dozens and dozens of damaged homes, and people were in the right place in their homes, and that's why we were lucky last night, and so far, no reported loss of life, minor injuries from flying debris. But let's keep working together today. Check on your neighbors. If you see a limb in the street, drag it out of the way to the curb, and everybody do their part to help us clear this out and report the damage through the normal channels, so we can collate it and be systematic about our response today. Thanks for listening to our emergency operations leaders. Last night could have been a lot worse, and we're going to spend the next few days and few weeks cleaning it up and moving forward. I'd be glad to take any questions.
Where was the hardest hit area?
Florissant, Bridgeton, Blackjack. I believe that Hazelwood was also hit, but you know what? I'm gonna ask Michelle. She has more details there.
Yeah, so we have some reports of sort of scattered damage in South and Central St. Louis County. The bulk of the damage seems to be in the Blackjack, Bridgeton, Florissant area, Hazelwood. We know there was probably a tornado that touched down in Chesterfield as well, so we'll be looking there as well.
Do you have even a estimate of how much property damage, or is that too hard to tell at this point? That's what today's all about.
That's what today and tomorrow are all about. First responders did the best they could in the dark last night. We know of areas where there's just really widespread damage. Bridgeton, I know, did go door to door last night. Primarily, they were looking for people who just need help out, resources. But they were able to catalog some damage if they did that. It's fairly widespread up there.
When you say damaged homes, are you talking about total? What is the scale of the damage?
There's more substantial damage from this than I've seen in my career. At least that's the unofficial assessment from first responders.
We saw this morning, we were actually in the Florissant area. A lot of damage down there. We saw a down power line. Many people still trying to drive through that road and even drive around it. We saw a car stuck. I know y'all said it, but what do you want to say to residents this morning that see that and try to go around it? We saw probably like a dozen cars try to do
Don't
it.
go around it. It's not worth the 5 minutes you're gonna save. It's just not, right? We've seen this in flash flooding. Take the extra minutes and go around it, go a different route. Don't try to skirt right around that wire.
Will you guys be offering any special services in terms of cleanup, like drop-off sites or anything like that?
So that is not uncommon. Drop-off sites are very common after something like this. We are not there yet. It is always on our radar as soon as something like this happens though. I would expect we will be offering some resource centers. Frequently, the drop-offs are coordinated by the municipalities, but we are always here to support that should they need it.
Do y'all have, in terms of transportation, extra crews working? Are they kind of working overtime like we see a lot in these storms?
Yes, we do. We essentially called in what we would call in for a snow shift.
Anything else?
Okay, I just wanted to say how proud we are of everybody working together last night. Everybody trains for this. Fire service trains, or law enforcement trains to work together in an emergency. And they executed their training last night, and they did it well. Fire services coming to aid of each other, law enforcement coming to aid of each other, and our residents played their important role in taking shelter and minimizing the impact of this storm, which is worse than we've seen in a really, really long time. We'll spend the next days and weeks digging out, and please stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as we get more information. Thank you.